Welcome back, guys. For those of you who've been watching, we're moving on to adventure number 3. And for my new people, welcome, but be sure to go back to 1 and 2. So today I'm going to make my beef and broccoli stir fried paired with some white rice. So before I get to the good stuff, I'm going to start off with the white rice first, so that by the time the steak is done, everything will be done at the same time. So I have my pot here. So first we're going to start with a little bit of vegetable oil. And then we're going to pour in some salt. So this is always very hard for me to tell you measurements when it comes to rice, because the Dominicans don't measure. So you're going to let this heat up for a second. I have my rice here that I've already cleaned. This is 3 cups of rice. So make sure that when you're cleaning rice, you pour water and the water should be clear. When you first put in the water to clean the rice, it's a little foggy. Once it's clear, then you know that your rice is clean. So just gonna stir this up a little bit. Now you're gonna put the rice in first because you want the rice to kind of fry a little bit in the oil, and then you pour in the water. Put the rice in now. Just stir this to make sure that the oil and the salt are spread out evenly. I've already poured my 3 cups of water into a separate bowl. Now the trick with rice is, for however many cups of rice you're using, you should put that same amount of cups of water. So now I'm gonna pour the 3 cups of water. I'll stir this up. Make sure every single grain is under the water. This is just the right amount of water. So you're gonna keep the fire on high, medium high, until all the water evaporates. Once it does, then you'll cover it. I use foil. I cover the rice with foil, and then I put the lid and I turn it down to low, and then the rice will finish cooking. So by this time the water should have evaporated. And what I like to do is I like to move my rice off like the walls of the pot and just kind of create like a little mountain. Now I'm going to cover it with foil. So what happens is you trap the steam in this foil and it helps cook the rice. Just make sure you put your heat on low. And then you'll be able to monitor that. You'll know when your rice is done. If it's not like sticking to each other, you can kind of just, it's grainy. It's like you can pull it off with a fork. So I have my flank steak here. This is only 1 pound. So I've already cleaned it. I just pat it dry with a paper towel. So now I'm gonna cut it up. This meal here, this is a very quick meal. It shouldn't take you more than 20 minutes, about 10 minutes to prep, and then maybe another 10 minutes to cook it. So, like for myself, I just came home from work, but I don't want to buy anything. So this is something that'll be done very quickly, and I'll enjoy. So I have this bowl here with 2 tablespoons of water. I'm gonna put my steak in this bowl. I'm also gonna add 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, and then I'm just gonna stir this up. You're gonna let this sit aside for 2 minutes. So while that's sitting aside, I'm gonna start on my veggies. So first we're gonna start with this onion here. So small yellow onion. Take the skin off. So here's a trick with onions. So onions always make people cry, but if you run it under cold water, it stops the tears. pepper actually doesn't matter if you want a green one, a yellow one, orange one. I chose red because the red one is a bit sweet. So you only need half. So you make sure you clean the inside. Work on my sauce here. So I have 1/3 of a cup of water already in this bowl. I'm gonna add 1/3 of a cup of low sodium soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of honey, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, and 1 teaspoon of cornstarch. I'm gonna mix it with this spoon here. So I got my pan ready here. You're gonna do 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. Let's take this off actually. Now you don't have to use sesame oil. I know this is not something that's like laying around in anybody's house, so you can most definitely use olive oil, virgin olive oil. So you're gonna let that warm up for a little bit. We're gonna add our steak here. So now we're gonna pour our veggies in. So those onions and peppers you cut up earlier. Also gonna add some broccoli. Add the steak back into this. We're also gonna add that sauce we made earlier. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and make sure you follow my page on Instagram, Culinary Adventures.